What seemed like 10 minutes was just a few seconds. And all of a sudden, I hear this little bitty voice say, "I am her," on the other end of the line.
He entered this world with no name, no answers, and a story that was sealed shut. Adopted as a newborn, raised by a loving family in Texas, but always knowing there was a chapter missing. At 50 years old, Jon Burleson made a decision that would change everything. He asked a judge for the truth. This is the story about identity, courage, and what happens when the past finally speaks. Welcome to Stories That Shape Us. Jon, before we talk about the search, tell us what you always knew and what you always wondered about growing up.
My mom and dad, they told me early on in my younger age that I was adopted. I was about 6, when they told me. I'll never forget my mom, telling me stories that I came from another mother, but I belonged to her fully, and there was this little saying that she said, "Not bone of my bone, not flesh of my flesh, but miraculously my own." They wanted me to know early on, so I wouldn't have these questions, later on in life.
Well, that's what you knew. So were there ever any things you wondered about they didn't tell you?
Oh yeah, as I began to understand, what adopted means, I had all kinds of questions. I was happy as ever because, I'd only known one mom and dad. As I grew older, I wonder if I have any, other sisters or half sisters. I wonder where those people are, So that was always a thought in the back of my mind.
So at 50 years old, you decided to petition the court. Why then?
Well, 50 is a big age.
Yes.
It's a big number in anybody's life. And so, 3 kids, Dave, and I didn't have any health history in my life whatsoever. There was a time in my life when I was 21, when I was in college, I kind of entertained the idea of maybe going to the courthouse and digging through papers to see what I could do to unlock that. But that didn't come to fruition. So at 50, I thought I really need to buckle down and see if I can find something, because I don't know anything about me with 3 kiddos. I just had nothing.
Sure.
As far as health-wise.
So you were in your early 20s when it first entered your mind, and that was 30 years later when you finally did it. So you were actually searching for something, even if it was from a subconscious standpoint,
right,
for 30 years.
There was just this constant thing in the back of my mind about the whole adoption thing. And there were simple questions too in that, Dave, that I didn't look like anybody else in my family. I've got 2 redheaded siblings, and I obviously I don't have red hair, and there were just noticeable differences. I knew I had to do something, so I took it from that point. Of what are the first steps to do? Got a really good friend who's an attorney, and I contacted him first. What do I do with this? And he kind of guided and directed me in this path. And I looked up Texas Registry of Adoption Records.
Wow.
And so I went through that, and it exceeded from there.
So you turned 50, and you decide, I'm going to go to the judge. What was that process like?
Oh gosh, it's all coming back to me. It was kind of a nerve-wracking process. There was some intrepidation in that whole thing, because I didn't know if it was going to happen or not. To kind of fast forward that, my wife and I, we ended up driving to Fort Worth because they had, after petitioning and submitting some papers that my attorney friend helped me with, I was going to be able to get before a judge. Whether he was going to allow us to get into the records or not, since it was a closed adoption, was another story, and it was just the flip of a coin. And so we actually spent the night in Fort Worth. My wife and I drove up, spent the night, and we were to be there at the juvenile court at 8 o'clock the next morning in Fort Worth, Texas. And so we went in there, and we sat there probably, Dave, maybe 20 or 30 minutes. It seemed like an eternity sitting in there, knowing that I didn't know what was going to transpire in front of me. And, all of these questions that I had in my mind, they were either going to get shut down or the whole brand new chapter was going to open up for me. And so soon they called our name, and we walked into this courtroom, and it was massive, and we were the only ones in there. I look down at the courtroom, and there's a bailiff and who's the lady that does the typing on the whatever she does, and
The court reporter.
the court reporter, yeah, the court reporter, and Charlotte and I, we just stop at the back of the courtroom, and I look to the end of the courtroom, and I see the judge walk in. And I'm like, and I'm holding her hand. I'm like, oh my gosh, there he is. And he's the nicest guy. He waves at us like this, come on down to the front.
It's like Price is Right.
Yeah,
Come on down.
Come on down. And so he waves at us, and we walk up to the judge, and he's just the nicest guy. I mean, I'll never forget, he had a gray suit and a pink bow tie on. I mean, all this stuff's just impressed him.
That had to be a good sign.
It was a good sign.
Yeah.
So he looks at me and he said, I've read your request. And he asked me some questions. He asked me, why do you want to open the records, of your adoption? And I said, well, I have zero health history. I've got a beautiful family. I've got 3 kids, and I would really like to know, my health history. I just feel like it's important for the health of my family. I don't want to drop dead from, something. And he sat down and he said, well, I have your folder right here. And I'll never forget, it's a baby blue, hard cardboard folder with 5 golden seals across the top.
And that folder was 50 years old?
It was 50 years old.
Wow.
It had sat in the warehouse for 50 years.
Wow.
And he looked at me and he said, I do not see why the laws of 1968 should dictate the laws of 2020. And the judge is elevated a little bit. I am looking, and I feel myself, I'm shaking. I'm holding Charlotte's hand and I'm shaking. And he takes a knife and he unseals the envelope.
Oh, right in front of you.
Right in front of us.
Wow.
Yes. And it just seemed like time stopped right at that point. And he pulls out one piece of paper and he says, well, I see a name here on this piece of paper. He said, he said my mom and dad's name, not my adopted parents' name. He says that, and then he says, I see another letter here, and there's one signature on the bottom. And he hands me the piece of paper, and I got to see my birth mother's name for the very first time in my life.
Wow. Now, was your wife standing next to you when you looked at it, or was it just you?
She was standing right next to me looking at it. At this time, I'm sobbing. She is sobbing. The bailiff is sobbing, and the court reporter, they're all sobbing. And the first thing that I notice is I make my J for Jonathan just like she makes her J.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, and so there's a thing there. And so we're sobbing, and
my first thought is the judge cleared the courtroom because he thought, once this comes out, we're going to have a cry fest here in this courtroom.
Yes.
But your J looked just like hers.
My J looked just like her J.
That's incredible.
It's amazing.
It really is.
It was just an amazing moment for me as a chapter that I'd only dreamed about and thought about through decades of my life opened up for me right there. And it was a letter releasing full custody from her.
Wow.
She released full custody to the adoption agency where I was placed.
To recap, you came to Fort Worth, Texas. You didn't know if this was even going to happen.
No.
You spent the night. What was the night like before that?
Well, anticipation, excitement, some fear. If you could take all that up and wrap it up in a ball, it would be like that.
I just can't imagine what that would be like. And you walk in that morning, huge courtroom. You got Bob Barker in the pink bow tie, and he's carrying with him a baby blue folder that's 50 years old. And at that point, you still don't know.
No.
You just know he's holding the folder.
No.
And then he finally says, I'm going to do this, and he cuts it. Is there any one word that you would use that would just go, this is what I felt, or is it even possible to describe it in one word?
It's not even possible. They're just a feeling deep inside. I can't even put it into words of a chapter that just opened up for me.
You're standing there in front of this judge. He's handed you this folder. You've got this information about your existence in your hands. What did you do with it?
Yeah. Well, after the courtroom experience, they made copies for us of the records and the letter. There were some redactions in the paperwork, but we had about 14 or 15 pages. We got in the car and we headed home, and it felt like a dream. Charlotte, my wife, she got this wild idea. Well, we've got Facebook.
Oh no.
Yeah, we've got Facebook.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, yes. All the searches. She said, well, let's see what we can do. And so we're driving. I'm like, oh my gosh, just think. Well, and we're trying to put ages together. And well, how old would she be now? Because I believe she was 23 when she gave me up for adoption. And I had a name. Now, for the first time in 50 years, I had a name. And so she began to put the name into Facebook search. And about 5 different names, interestingly, popped up all across the country. And we thought, well, what are the chances?
And plus, you're using a name that she may not even use anymore.
Right.
You don't even know. No,
it'd just be a total guess.
Wow.
And I said that even. I'm like, well, honey, she's probably married, or, I'm just taking a stab at it. And man, one location popped up that was close to where we lived, where we live now.
How close?
50 miles away.
50 miles away.
50 miles away.
Isn't that ironic? You got 50 miles in 50 years. I never thought about that.
I had not even thought about that either.
50 miles in 50 years.
Oh, goodness. Well, we got home, and I called a friend of mine, another friend of mine. He's a pastor friend. And I said, what do I do with this information? And he said, Jonathan, he said, you need to call the number. And I had no idea, if this number was going to work. Anyway, I had to make a decision. Either I'm going to do this or I'm not. Well, I decided to do it. I decided to do it. Went upstairs, closed the door behind me, and I was so nervous, Dave. I had a piece of paper and I had scribbled out some questions, like just in case.
Now, is this same day or the next day?
This is the same day.
Same day.
This is the same day that the file was unsealed. I wrote, I don't want anything from you, just in case. I just want to tell you thank you for having me. So I sit on the edge of the bed in this bedroom, and Charlotte's outside in the loft, and I'm dialing the number, and I'm just so nervous. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest, and I dial the number, and it rings 3 or 4 times. And a lady answers the phone, and I tell her my name. Well, my name is Jonathan Burleson, and I was adopted when I was 9 days old, and I just begin to say nothing. There's nothing on
You're just hearing silence on the other
there's
end?
silence on the other end. What seemed like 10 minutes was just a few seconds. And then all of a sudden, I hear this little bitty voice say, I am her, on the other end of the line.
Wow.
Yeah. So I stood up real quick, and I just said, I just want you to know, I don't want anything from you. I just wanted to call and tell you, thank you so much for choosing to have me. I have an amazing life. I have a beautiful family. And at that time, I'm opening a door, and I'm pointing at the phone, and I'm telling my wife, it's her.
Oh, gosh.
Yes.
Oh.
It is her, and she's beside her. So if it's her, and I sit down, and we have a conversation for a little over 7 minutes. And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the conversation. Interesting thing about, she told me so many things. She was really nervous on the phone, and I began to kind of freak out, I guess. I said, oh yeah, I had blonde hair and blue eyes when I was born. And she goes, no, honey, you had hazel eyes.
Wow.
Yeah. And I understand that she got to hold me for 5 minutes.
Oh, man.
And she said, I want you to know, I didn't let you go because I didn't love you. I had to make a choice. And then she said, I love you. And then I said, I love you too. And that was the end of the conversation.
Wow, I just can't imagine what was going through your mind or hers, because I'm sure for 50 years that she had put this behind her and thought, I will never have to have this conversation. And then you called.
And then I called. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you heard those words, I am her, what was the emotion? What did you feel right then?
Oh man, it was, it seemed like that when I heard those words, a lot of things came to the surface with me. I heard, like, a lot of things were magnified inside of me, like the tone of the voice when she said it, the inflection of even the way she said it, the disbelief that I am actually speaking to the mother who gave birth to me.
Wow.
You know, I really can't put it into a word or words. I mean, it was just a wellspring of emotion on the inside of me that it felt like a fountain on the inside of me that kept pouring out but not going anywhere. And if that even makes sense.
Jon, when you really think about it, those are 3 words that you never expected to hear.
No.
But she never expected to say.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they are there, and that's real. And the emotion from both of you just had to be overwhelming.
Yeah, it really was. She did say, I mentioned a 7-minute call. She said to me, I'll never forget this, Dave. She said, I've got to go. I've got to go. And evidently she had pulled a phone cord from a landline into a bathroom there and was talking privately. And she said, my husband doesn't know. My husband doesn't know. And I understand that. She has just kept the secret for so long.
Was that conversation her basically telling you that I can't tell him? Was it telling you also that I can't meet you?
I think so, in a way. And I could sense that, Dave, and I totally respect that, because as this thing unfolded, I did not want to come into her life to disrupt her life.
Sure.
I wanted to make contact if there was even any type of contact to be made, but maybe even in a way release her, knowing that I was okay. Knowing that, there's no shame at all in this, at all, where she could live and know that I had been taken care of by the family, by my family.
Yeah, and I think that's a great thing, because when you think about it, Jon, from just that motherly instinct, there had to be days in her life when she wondered how you were.
Yeah.
And if you can imagine that boiling up for 50 years and finally her finding out he made it, he's okay.
Yeah.
That had to be a great thing for her as well. That was very selfless for you to do that and not require that she meet with you.
Right, right. Yeah, just for her to be released, from all of that. And one of the things, I know this stuff keeps coming up, but one of the things in the conversation that she said was, when I told her where I grew up, she just kind of gasped, because, and I'll never forget that sound that she made, because we were so close, together after these decades of time.
So after all that, do you still have hope that one day you will meet?
I do. It's not something in my life that I have to have, I feel like what needed to be done was done. And a lot of these things, a lot of these stories, they don't turn out so good. Mine turned out just fantastic. Other chapters opened up. I would love to, I'd love to look at her with my own eyes, and I would love for her to see me,
sure,
through her eyes, with her own eyes.
Jon, it's interesting and so true that sometimes these don't work out. They don't turn out well, and you just said that yours turned out great. But I think it turned out greater than you could have expected, because you found out that she had a twin sister.
Yes.
And you contacted her.
Yes.
What happened with that?
Yes. Well, that was a pretty amazing chapter. an amazing blessing. I had this name, you know, and I looked into Ancestry.com and did all of that one afternoon, and an annual popped up online.
Like a high school
Yeah,
annual.
like a high school annual
Wow.
popped up, yes. And we're looking at it, and I'm looking at, and I find my birth mother's picture with her name under it, had this blouse on, and then I look right next to her, and there's another girl wearing the same blouse with the same last name. Yes, and so I couldn't believe what was happening, and I'm yelling at my wife downstairs to come upstairs quick, quick, quick. And I said, look at this. And she goes, oh my gosh, Jonathan, she has a twin sister.
Oh, wow.
And so it was a fraternal twin sister. And that opened up everything, Dave. And I had another name. And so I thought, well, I can't, I'm not going to reach out to my birth mom. I am definitely going to reach out to the twin sister. Found her on Facebook, messaged a friend that had answered one of the posts of who I know now, my Aunt Joyce. Messaged her, and she said, oh, you must be talking about Joyce.
Really?
Yes. And she said, how would you like for me to help facilitate this? And I said, well, my name is Jonathan. I think I might be related to her. So I found out then that this lady, not the Aunt Joyce, but the lady had said, I will contact one of Aunt Joyce's siblings, her daughter, and see if she wants to reach out to you.
So it wasn't a sibling, which would have been her sister. It was actually a daughter.
It was a daughter.
Okay.
It was a daughter. And the next day, I got a phone call from Aunt Joyce's, the twin sister daughter. And I am talking to her, and I said, you know, you're going to think I'm absolutely crazy, but I believe that I'm related to your mom.
Now, let me stop you right there before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
You found your birth mother. You call her on the phone. This thing that has been inside you, you have found this person that gave birth to you, and then you learn that she can't meet with you. And then you go out and find out she's got a twin sister, and you start to contact her. Was there ever a time in your mind when you thought, this could happen again?
Oh, yeah.
She may tell me no.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, it was just a shot in the dark, you know, shooting an arrow into the dark. Am I going to hit the target, or is the same thing going to happen? And those feelings there was excitement though, you know, but of course I thought, well, this could lead to a dead end road too. Maybe not have anything to do with me, or does she even know?
Right.
But I got a call after reaching out.
So you reached out to her daughter?
I reached out to her daughter.
Her daughter contacted her?
Yeah, yes.
And she contacted you?
She did contact me.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
What was that like when you heard this voice come in that you weren't familiar with?
It was amazing. It was amazing, Dave. I knew where she lived. She lived in Lee Summit, Missouri.
Yeah, that's at Kansas City.
Yes, and I knew she had my phone number because the daughter had given her the phone number, and my phone rang, and it said Lee Summit, Missouri. And I'll never forget, I was at the top of the stairs in my house. I answered the phone. I said, hello. And I said, Aunt Joyce? And she said, is this Jonathan? So there was a connection right there.
So you didn't even say hello. You just said Aunt Joyce.
Aunt Joyce.
I wonder what that made her feel like, because she had never heard those words from you before.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing for her.
And you had a connection from the get-go.
There was an immediate connection. Just an immediate connection. It's been incredible.
It wasn't just a phone connection. From what I understand, she made the trip from Lee Summit, Missouri.
Yes.
To meet you and your family.
She did. Yes, she did.
Now, we've got footage of that meeting. Let's take a look at that.
Oh my gosh! Oh, oh my gosh! How are you now? You look so much like Dad. I can't believe it.
Wow, John. How does it make you feel when you see that?
Just incredible, just amazing, man. That was a time. I mean, every time I see that, it brings me back to that moment, like it was yesterday.
You guys hug for the first time. She grabs your face and then she says, "You look like my dad." What went through your mind when she said that?
Man, it just solidified. This is who I am.
Wow.
It solidified that this is who I am, part of who I am. Hugging blood relative for the very first time in my life. Seeing my beautiful aunt. I'll never forget the color of that blouse either. And it was just surreal. I mean, it was like a dream. It's hard to put into words too.
Yeah, I bet it is. So you still have a relationship with her. It wasn't a one-time event.
Oh, no. We talk every week. And I keep up with what's going on. They've since moved to another state here in the country. We talk. There's an incredible spiritual connection too, you know. Great husband. He was lieutenant colonel. Flew medic helicopters for the Vietnam War. Just an amazing guy. Just a total blessing. And it's always anticipation when I see a message on my phone from her, or when I see her caller ID that she's contacting me, and I'm reaching out to her. It's, that will continue.
Wow. You know, John, all these steps that had to take place for that to happen, I don't think that was an accident. I don't think it was an accident at all. I mean, that many things to line up was something supernatural. I really think so.
Yeah, it was.
So that moment that she embraced you and then she took your face into her hands and she said, "You look like my dad," and you guys embraced again, and the smile on her face, did that change how you view family?
You know, it didn't change something that's fundamental in me already about my family, because my family, my mom and dad that raised me are my mom and dad.
Right.
You know, and I couldn't have had a better mom and dad. And I've got brothers and sisters. I guess what it did, Dave, it answered questions for me. It opened up a broader spectrum of who I am, and which was something in my life that I needed, and I'd been desiring for all of these decades, you know. And it really just did broaden everything, and with such a rich relationship I've got with Aunt Joyce, it's just amazing, and it's made my life, and I believe it's made her life, more beautiful.
Some stories begin with loss, some with secrecy, and some begin with unanswered questions. But the ones that shape us most are the ones we choose to face with courage. Because knowing where you came from doesn't define you. What it can do is free you. John's story reminds us that sometimes the answers we seek don't always come in the way we expect. But the truth, handled with grace, has a way of healing more than just one heart. Have you ever searched for a missing piece of your own story? Share it in the comments below. Your story may be the one to inspire someone else. For more powerful conversations like this, visit the Stories That Shape Us playlist. Real people, real moments, reminding us what truly matters.